Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a very sensitive matter, and it's a matter that touches on the deaths of very many innocent lives. And it's actually about time that we discuss these things soberly without blame games. Because if we start discussing on, raising aspersions and raising issues, and talking to each other, or rather at each other, it will really be, it will paint us in a very bad picture as a country, because we actually lose the entire thing. Because if we actually start blaming us or blaming each other, then we'll start blaming each other from way back. Because if I listen to Honorable Gertrude very clearly, she of course blames the government, which is okay. But again, when you read and follow the history of Mr. Mackenzie, you will realize that he actually left Malindi or that area on or about 2 years ago. And most of these things that happened within the handshake government. So we really do not want to go to those things. When the government was focusing on handshake and deals and everything, COVID-19 haste and everything, such things were happening. But Honorable Speaker, that is not the direction as leaders we should be taking. What we should actually be asking ourselves as a house that makes laws, how do we sit down and regulate this radicalization or regulate these religious groups that are cropping up? And I think that is more important, because what has happened has already happened. We already see reaction by the government. We've seen the police there. We've seen today the Minister of Interior there. We've seen so many rescue missions happening there. We've seen people being taken, of course, for rescue centers and such. That is now water under the bridge. What we should be discussing in this house is what we should do to regulate these religious cults that are happening. And for me, Honorable Speaker, I get surprised all over, because this thing has happened, is actually happening all over. When people choose to believe human beings, the good book in the book of John chapter 10 verse 10 promises life and life in abundance. You do not need a broker to get to Christ. You do not need any person to stand by your way when you're